Hello there and welcome to the program. This is Energy and You, a show that brings you weekly developments in Nigeria's energy sector with a focus on NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Igumbo. Tonight, NNPC Limited woos investors at the 2025 CERAWeek conference in Houston, Texas, where global energy experts gathered to advance energy progress. And the campaign for compressed natural gas continues. Experts discuss safety and economic value. Details of these and other stories in a moment. Please join us again.
Why do you think people should go to Nigeria and invest in Nigeria? You have here in the panel, you have two potential investors, you have in the audience many more.
China and India, they want to get on a plane first thing tomorrow to come to Nigeria because we provide everything that we talked about. We've got access to 37 billion barrels. We've got access to over 200 trillion cubic feet of gas. We've got liberal regulatory frameworks, fiscal terms that Mr. Gupta talked about. We've got flexibility to whatever type of partnerships you want.
Energy for today, energy for tomorrow.
We begin tonight from Houston, Texas, in the United States of America, where Nigeria featured prominently at the just concluded 2025 CERAWeek. At the 44th Annual Conference, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Gas, Honorable Ekperikpe Ekpo, and the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, Ms. Olu Verhien, as well as top management of NNPC Limited, took part in various panel sessions where the current and emerging realities in Africa and the global energy mix took center stage.
Speaking during a panel session on Strategic Africa Roundtable, navigating the complexities of energy security and the need for accelerated economic development, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Gas, Honorable Ekperikpe Ekpo, said the underlying philosophy of the Decade of Gas initiative of the federal government is to galvanize the gas resources in the country for economic prosperity, guarantee energy security of the nation. He speaks more on the ongoing gas development projects in the country.
So over the years, with the Decade of Gas initiative, we have identified about 22 projects for gas generation and infrastructure development to ensure that we have dissemination or distribution of gas within the country and within the region. And through this, we have some initiatives that have taken to take FID on the two major gas projects. That is the Ubeta related to Total and the Iseni SPDC Shell. This will bring volumes of gas into the country where we can use as well as do export of it. So a lot has gone on in the sector. And of course, after the production of the gas, we need the distribution of the gas, which brings to mind the AKK gas pipelines in the country.
Earlier in the opening plenary, the United States Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, said what the world needs now is more fossil fuel. This position resonates well with the position of African countries, especially Nigeria, which has called for a recognition of the peculiar energy poverty in the continent in relation to the developed world. Though he admitted fossil fuels' greenhouse gas emissions were warming the planet, he said there is no feasible way solar, wind and batteries could replace the myriad uses of gas.
Let's do a quick survey of energy access today. Roughly 1 billion people live lives remotely recognizable to us in this room. We wear fancy clothes, mostly made out of hydrocarbons. We travel in motorized transport. The extra lucky of us fly across the world to attend conferences. We heat our homes in winter, cool them in summer, store myriad foods in our freezers and refrigerators, and have light, communications, and entertainment at the flip of a switch. Pretty awesome. This lifestyle requires an average of 13 barrels of oil per person per year. What about the other 7 billion people? They want what we have. The other 7 billion people, on average, consume only 3 barrels of oil per person per year versus our 13. Africans average less than 1 barrel. We need more energy, lots more energy. That much should be obvious.
The session featured representatives from Namibia, Morocco, and Equatorial Guinea. In another session, NNPC's Executive Vice President Upstream, Mr. Udintia, called on global investors to direct their attention to the Nigerian oil and gas sector as the nation is now an investor's haven, owing to the robust regulatory reforms and the investment-friendly policies of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Speaking on the theme, Spotlight, Attracting Investment for Oil and Gas, Intia emphasized that Nigeria is well positioned as a safe and attractive destination for investment, as the nation is currently expanding its oil and gas industry to meet rising global energy demand, driven by geopolitical tensions and the energy policies of the U.S. administration.
We've got access to 37 billion barrels in remaining reserves. We think it's conservative. We think there's a whole lot more. We've got access to over 200 trillion cubic feet of gas. We've got liberal regulatory frameworks, fiscal terms that Mr. Gupta talked about. We've got flexibility to whatever type of partnerships you want. Is it joint venture, production sharing contracts? Is it sole risk? We've got stable democracy. We've got stability in terms of security that's largely improving. You know, we will welcome them, India and China. Come on over. We'll be glad to have you.
The session featured global industry leaders such as the Deputy Director General Planning, China National Petroleum Corporation, CNPC, Pinxian Zhang, Managing Director of ONGC Videsh Limited OVL, Rajarshi Gupta, and Chairman of Libya's National Oil Corporation, Masoud Mahmoud. On her part, the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, Mrs. Oluwahen, who spoke on the theme, Policy and People, Pathways to a Just Transition, said the major challenge of Africa is how to prioritize access to energy, grow productivity and income so that majority can afford energy.
If you look at a country like Nigeria, 200 million people today, that's going to be one of the most populated countries on the planet in 10, 15 years. And there's significant urban migration. Most people are going to have access, not in rural areas, not from you giving them solar home systems, but because you've been able to densify and improve reliability of the grid in urban areas where we already have the grid. That's how most people are actually going to gain access. So it's making sure that that data is more obvious and accessible for policy making and investment decision making.
CERAWeek is one of the largest energy conferences in the world, drawing thousands of foremost global energy industry experts and a host of other corporate and government leaders from around the world annually to Houston, United States, for a week-long conversation on the future of energy.
On the sidelines of the 2025 CERAWeek in Houston, USA, the management of NNPC Limited met with the leadership of Vitol, a global energy and commodities company. NNPC Limited's Executive Vice President, Upstream, Udintia, and Executive Vice President, Gas, Power and New Energy, Mr. Olalekan Ogunleye, received Vitol's Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Russell Hardy, at the NNPC stand. Discussions focused on exploring potential opportunities and strengthening collaboration between both companies beyond commodity trading, with emphasis on enhancing cooperation on joint projects. You're watching Energy and You. Time for a quick break, but when we return, we'll have the Managing Director of Nigerian Pipeline and Storage Company speak on the role of the company in energy supply and sustainability. Stay with us.
Once I get from the NNPC, I get the correct liter and the fuel burns well and it lasts. Sometimes when you compare to buying from other stations, I think it's better you come to NNPC to buy, because when you buy here, you get the accurate liter and all that. So I think that is why I like coming here always. Even if there is queue, I want to wait and also the guys serving the fuel, they are always, I think they are honest, because before you buy, they will program it. The liter that you get comes in, unlike other places that you go, they do some sharp practices by giving you less of what you want to buy.
The product is okay. We have been using it for a long time, and we don't have any issue with our vehicle, like injector or whatever. We don't have any issue. Some filling station, when you buy fuel, your car will be jerking. You'll be thinking of whether what is going on, whether they mix it with water, or some people are complaining like, say, they give me air. When you bought fuel here, the quality is okay.
And the product is very okay, and the services is nice, it's fine. So there is no issue. We don't have any complaint each time we want to come and get the fuel with our coupon. No, yeah, staff, they are trying, they are okay. They give us the best service we can have somewhere.
I do come here because I have confidence in the quality and the quantity they disperse whenever you pay.
I don't actually buy fuel from another place except NNPC, and because of the quality of the fuel and the pricing too. So I can say that I give them top notch. They are really trying.
You're still watching Energy and You. Now, Nigeria's quest for energy security is taking a major leap as efforts to revamp the nation's refineries intensify. At the heart of this transformation is the Nigerian Pipelines and Storage Company, a subsidiary of NNPC Limited, playing a critical role in ensuring seamless product transportation and storage. In this exclusive interview, Managing Director of NPSC, Mr. Folorunso Karim, sheds light on the company's role in supporting the refinery's rehabilitation, its operational strategies, and how it's positioning itself for efficiency and sustainability in the evolving energy landscape.
NPSC facilities, we are tied to the refineries. We are the one that support refineries in terms of crude transportation as well as evacuation of the finished product. In the process of restreaming the refinery, we have to revamp all the facilities that are critical to the survival of the refinery, vis-a-vis the crude line that move crude from Port Harcourt up to from Bonny up to the Port Harcourt refinery, as well as the escarpors to Warri refinery. So we have to rehabilitate these two lines. They're about 48-kilometer length. So we have to rehabilitate them and make them ready to supply crude. Similarly, the terminals at both Port Harcourt and the Warri refinery, we also have to revamp them to make them functional. And all these things have to be done in order to ensure we are able to move crude to the refinery, as well as trucking out the finished product from the refinery and through our facilities at the terminals. So the operability of both refineries depend on how effective and efficient our facility is. So we are very, very key. We are more or less the one that will prove the concept of the fact that the refinery has started to work. So the NNPC management decided to enter into an agreement with the BOT partner. The BOT means finance, build, operate, and transfer. So the partners, we call them concessionaires, they bring in their resources to equip and make all the assets functional. Then within 3 years, they are expected to construct the pipeline. Then they have about 15 to 18 years to operate and maintain the pipeline. And within this period, they are expected to recoup their investment, after which the asset goes back to NPSC. So because we do not have the required resources, so we have to align with the private people to participate and grow the business. There is a need for us to supply crude not only to Warri Refinery, also to Kaduna Refinery. So what we did was to enter into a rehabilitation agreement with WAGE. WAGE is a sister company, West Africa Gas Line Company. We entered into a rehabilitation agreement with them, and we set up a project team that will work and repair those assets. So the projects are in 3 phases. We have completed the phase 1, which is the engineering. So we are going to the second phase, which is securing 35,000 barrel initial requirement for Warri Refinery. Then the second stage, we are looking at introducing new partners into the business. Currently now, we have an LPG plant in Apapa. The capacity is about 4,000 metric tons. And a shipload of LPG contains about 12 to 40,000 metric tons. So because of the capacity constraint, we are unable to handle this product. And because of that, we are losing a lot of values. So what we intend to do is to debottleneck Apapa LPG, increase the capacity from the present 4,000 to 14,000 metric tons, and by so doing, we'll be able to handle the shipload of LPG. And if we're able to do that, you can imagine the amount of revenue that will come to NPSC. HSE is very critical, as you all know. So we have the largest footprint among the NNPC family. We operate almost everywhere in the country. So HSE is very key. There's an awareness on if HSE matters now on my safety. If you check my safety, you see an improvement how our staff report near misses and all the unsafe conditions. So we also train our staff. A lot of them, they have gone on swimming training. And we're also making sure that we provide PPEs for all the staff and all the critical staff in the field. So HSE awareness is very, very high now. And a lot of initiatives are being brought forward by HSE team to make sure that people are HSE aware and they do the right thing, and without compromising the safety of the environment as well as the people that work. We do this on a regular basis. We partner with them, we identify the key stakeholders, have regular meetings with them and encourage them and make sure that the people from the community, they are part and parcel of our project. So this is a win-win situation that make it easy for us to operate in all this area with little or no disruption to the environment and also to our operation. That is the tomorrow business. It is today and tomorrow business. So because we have the plant, 1,000 metric ton for each of the inland plant, and we also have plan to also increase the capacity, so we'll be able to serve almost every corridors in Nigeria. So with NNPC Retail, we are going to collaborate and make sure all the inland potential plants become very active before the end of this year. This is the time for people to come to NPSC, especially the investors. In the whole sub-Saharan African region, I'm yet to know who has the kind of facilities that we have in NPSC. We are talking of over 5,000 kilometer length pipeline with over 5,000 right of way, with a lot of initiative we are bringing in LPG, in storage, in so many things, even serving the upstream players, because we are having a new business model now that will look at every other areas of business apart from the refinery. We don't want our life to be tied to the refinery. So we are open to investors to come and use our facility to move their product across the whole country. We are leveraging on technology. A lot of things are happening. So we expect them to come. Then the LPG, because we are going to increase our capacity, we'll be able to manage and handle LPG product. So the opportunities is enormous in NPSC.
Stakeholders in the energy value chain have reassured Nigerians of safety and economic value as some of the benefits of using compressed natural gas. At an interactive session of a joint committee on the Presidential Initiative on CNG, NNPC Limited encouraged more investments in the utilization of gas, owing to the growing successes recorded in the CNG initiative. Ideas were also shared during the session on how to review existing standards and regulations for CNG utilization.
The House Joint Committee, made up of the Committees on Safety Standards and Regulations, as well as Gas Resources and Industries, engaged key stakeholders at an interactive session on the review of existing standards and regulations for CNG utilization, identification and proposal on areas for improvement in the safety and usage of CNG in line with global best practices. The focus of discussions was on safety and regulations of CNG tanks, as locally fabricated tanks by artisans pose danger to CNG users. The managing director of NNPC Gas Marketing Limited, Mr. Justin Ezeala, who represented the group CEO of NNPC, said while the energy company anchors on availability and affordability of the CNG product, safety is also a key concern, just as the success of the presidential CNG initiative is of utmost importance for the company.
For us, it was a reputational thing, so we are very interested that safety is primary for everything we do. At the same safety issues we are talking about, we need to make sure that those cylinders are not even in the market in the first place, and people are not allowed to bring substandard cylinders to stations to fuel them. These cylinders, when properly made, can last forever, and they are safe as anything.
Further contributing on regulations to ensure the continued safety of CNG use, he added that as NNPC Limited is working on provision of more CNG stations nationwide, the regulatory laws need to be strengthened, and all the relevant regulatory bodies should be empowered with the right capacities for work. Earlier, presentations were made by the Program Director and Chief Executive of the Presidential CNG Initiative, Engineer Michael Oluwagbemi, and the Director General of the Energy Commission of Nigeria, Dr. Mustafa Abdullahi. They both called for more focus on the alignment of key regulatory agencies of government under the Nigerian Gas Vehicle Monitoring System (NGVMS), which is aimed at ensuring natural gas vehicle safety and operator compliance.
So the most important thing for us is to bring all vehicles using gas in Nigeria under a unified monitoring system, which will be the NGVMS, where there will be close coordination in terms of how do you ensure that only properly converted vehicles that are using properly accredited materials, including CNG conversion kits, as well as cylinders, as well as to ensure that only those that are converted in properly accredited workshops, certified by NADDC, that are also using personnel that have been properly trained and certified and accredited by NADDC, working with MBT, are the ones that are being refilled at the pump. I think that's the most important thing.
The Standard Organization of Nigeria and also the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria should collaborate and be involved in the manufacturing, proper regulation and certification of locally fabricated CNG cylinders to ensure compliance with international standards and reduce the safety risk.
The Joint Committee also welcomed suggestions on clear guidelines for implementation and operations of the regulatory rules from the organizations in attendance. The chairman of the committee, Honorable David Zacharias, therefore canvassed for more stakeholders' collaboration and capacity building for local artisans.
Together, we can ensure that this initiative fulfills its immense promise while protecting the lives and well-being of our citizens. Equally important is the need to build capacity among local artisans. Comprehensive training and certifications program will equip these fabricators with the skill required to meet global standards.
NNPC Limited continues to assure of its partnership with all stakeholders for a continued success of the CNG initiative as the lawmakers collate submissions by stakeholders towards addressing legislative gaps that will ensure adequate regulatory functions.
It's time now for a summary of some trending international energy news for the week. Oil prices climbed after the United States vowed to keep attacking Yemen's Houthis until the Iran-aligned group ends its assault on shipping. Brent futures rose 48 cents to $71.06 a barrel. Niger Republic is grappling with an unprecedented shortage of petrol in the West African country. Economic activities were brought to a halt as filling stations in Niamey, the capital, and those in other towns ran out of petrol recently. For many years, the country has depended largely on Nigeria for about 50% of its local fuel consumption. Before the removal of subsidy by the Nigerian government, petrol was usually smuggled into the neighboring country through illegal routes. The Nigerian government has given approval for the construction of a modular refinery in Abia State. Abia State Governor Dr. Alice Oti said the modular refinery, which will be built by HIS Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited, will be sited at the Abia Industrial and Innovative Park in Owaze, Ukwa West local government area of the state. The House of Representatives has fulfilled its promise to recover outstanding revenue due to the Federation accounts after recovering approximately 28.7 billion naira from 2 oil companies. The House investigation, which is based on findings from the 2021 audit report, focuses on 45 oil companies collectively owing $1.7 billion in outstanding liabilities to the Federation accounts. ExxonMobil's Australian unit says its Gippsland-based joint venture with Woodside Energy has approved its final investment decision to develop the Turun Phase 3 project, targeting underdeveloped gas resources. The approval is for the $221.31 million project, which aims to drill 5 new wells in the Turum and North Turum gas fields. And that's the show tonight. But before we go, please remember, it's dangerous to scoop fuel from falling tankers. Report such cases to the appropriate authorities for prompt response. Thanks for joining us, as always. If you missed any part of the show or previous episodes, you can catch up by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles to get updates of all the activities of NNPC Limited. I'm Egosa Egumbo. We'll see you again.